So things aren't looking too good for Shania Twain's latest release, which is The Queen of Me. It was released February 3rd, just last month, and it's already off the charts completely after 3 weeks. Actually, after 2 weeks. By the third week, it was completely off. So it came in at number 10, selling at 38,000, it says. I checked 3 to 4 days after its release, and it said 10,000 at that time. So I'm glad to see that the numbers picked up. But by the second week, it was at 166. And then by the third week, it's completely off the fucking charts. Now, for an artist of that time that sold many fucking records, not just with one album, but like every fucking album she put out, you know, minus the first release, which was in 93, her self-titled album. That was before her marriage to Mutt Lange and working with him. You know, it must be hard for these artists from that time who sold so much to release new music, because you're dealing with the pressure of living up to that, you know. And if you don't, you get ripped apart, because it's like, oh, you're a has-been, you don't have it no more, no one cares for your music. That is not true. There's a fucking shitload of fans out there that care for these people, regardless of your opinion or not. That's why they continue to make music. And, well, they can. I mean, if they spent their life making music, then that's what they like to do. Regardless if it's selling or not, they're going to continue to do it. And they're going to go on tour, because that's where they really fucking make money. And they're going to need new material to kind of just throw in there. And even though fans, you know, you have people say, oh, I don't care for new music, I just want the hits. Well, you kind of do. You want a different show. Anyway, so I blame the record label, and I'll tell you why. These are fast times we live in when it comes to music. Any artist these days, you have to put out shit quick. And it's hard for artists, I find, to really sit on an album and promote it and run with it for a long time. Like Shania Twain, she fucking, I think it was 2-3 years, she was touring off of Come On Over. And at one point, she actually had to like throw it in and like, hey, no, enough. The number of singles she had off that album, things are so different because of streaming. People aren't making money anymore off of music because of it. It's actually like insane. Every million streams, the artist sees $4,000. That's it. It's horrible. Now imagine having to divide that between raters and shit like that, however the fuck that works. There was a fucking video, I forget who it was a songwriter, an artist. He wrote a song for Usher. There was over 2 million streams or whatever the fuck on the song, and he only saw in the end, I think he said about like 1,200 or something. It was fucking pennies in comparison to what songwriters used to make. The songwriters once upon a time used to make way more money than the actual artists. It's crazy. These days, it's crazy that music isn't, you know, making money the way that it used to. You literally have to throw yourself in every lane possible in order to see some sort of profit and to promote your music and to use it in different lanes. So why I blame the label is because, okay, here, the first single, Waking Up Dreamin', was released in, I believe it was late September or sometime in October. And then she announced that the album release will be February 3rd, 2023. That's a long fucking time. Between the first single release and the actual album release, that's a long window. That's a big ass fucking window. And in between, she gave us a second single, which was Giddy Up. Again, it didn't do too much. But get this, her greatest hits album that came out in 2004 is actually sitting at number like 84 or something like that on the country, on the Canada charts. Kind of fucked. It's almost 20 years ago that this album came out, and yet it's still sitting in the fucking charts. But her new release, it couldn't even sit in the charts for fucking 2 weeks. And it's not that people don't have interest in Shania Twain. Her last album, Now, which she completely wrote herself, no other raters involved, it sat on the charts for fucking like several weeks. It did well. It actually went to number 1 in a lot of places. So it's literally how you market shit. So the label, I don't know who planned this rollout, but it was fucking awful. And I talked to some friends of mine that are also like huge fans of Shania Twain out in the UK and like all over and stuff. And they even agreed that is a fucking long time to wait for the album. They should have targeted more for like TikTok and social media, because it seems like that's where things are happening these days. You know, pay these fucking influencers or whatever the fuck to use your song so it could get viral and it could become a fucking a thing on TikTok or Instagram or whatever the fuck. It seems like that's the way to go. God, I sound so old. A trend. I meant a trend. But yeah, so from the first single being released in like September, October, and then having to wait months for the actual fucking album release, and then in between we only got another single and it didn't do fucking shit. There wasn't even a proper video for it, but yet videos don't even do shit anyways now because, you know, music channels and all that. TV, does anybody even fucking watch TV? Everything's streaming now. She got into a new label. I can't remember the name of it. But they're not doing shit. Like, that was a stupid fucking rollout for such a fucking artist. You have Shania Twain on your shit. You're gonna wait months for... Who does that? This isn't fucking in the 90s now, bro. Things are so fucking fast paced. I even said this when Waking Up Dreaming was released. The first fucking week, I'm like, it's already fucking forgotten about. Like, there should have been a second single planned for at least, you know, the following week or something. And then the album should have came out at the end of the month at least, or the fucking following month. Not months later. It was a whole fucking new year. Nobody even cared. And then apparently she's struggling to sell tickets. She added some stops in Canada on her Queen of Me tour, kicking off very soon. And apparently she's struggling to sell tickets. And I'm not going to say it's because it's her, but because the fucking ticket sales are insane. I've been going to a Janet concert since I think it was 2008, 2007. The Rock Witchy tour. That was my first concert of Janet. And I've gone to every show ever since. And I've been like front, third row, whatever the fuck, paying $500 to $600 max. That's all I'll do. But now I'm not going because they're fucking, to get even shit seats, you're paying $500, bro. To get that close to the stage, you're still like 7th, fucking 5th row. You're paying $1,500. Like, what the fuck? Like, do they not want us to go? And I'm sorry, we just got out of fucking a pandemic, bro. Like, we're all fucking struggling still. What's wrong with you? And I'm not blaming the artist, but apparently it's fucking Ticketmaster doing this shit. So at this point, it's like, I'm not even going. Thankfully, I'm going to Shania's show here in Ottawa because she's stopping at Blues Fest. Tickets for Blues Fest are, you know, it was like $150 for the day. And I hate these things. I hate these type of outdoor events because there's no seats. I have to fight my way to the front. I gotta piss every fucking 15 minutes when I drink. And I'm drinking. I'm getting drunk. So I had to resort to going here when usually I go to like Toronto or Montreal or whatever. But the tickets, even just to fucking be in 5th, 3rd row, you're paying fucking like $1,500 to $1,700. That's nuts. Like, no wonder why nobody's fucking going. You can't expect for people to pay for that shit, bro. Like, of course ticket sales are gonna be fucking struggling. Anyways, I blame the label for why this album didn't do well. They didn't promote the fucking thing at all. Like, no one even knew that she had an album out. Them as a label need to know how to market people, especially these times. Yes, she is an artist from then. So a majority of her audience is, you know, older people. So they do buy CDs and shit still. However, still, a lot of people didn't know about the album or that she released new music. So whose fault is that? And my friend and I, we were talking about this while the rollout was happening after the lead single came out. You know, a few months went by and we didn't hear nothing. We're like, what the fuck? Like, this is bad. This is not looking good. This album's not gonna do well. And then come to find out after the release, it didn't do well. She went #1 in the UK, but then again, she's off the charts within a few fucking weeks' time. It's horrible. Get a new fucking label, get new management or whatever the fuck, because this isn't working. They should know how to market an artist to be successful during these times where everything's so fucking fast paced. Everything should be done like 2-3 times a fucking week. You should be releasing something to social media, or on whatever the fuck. Do it. Release the album within a month's time, because shit now is forgotten about so quick. You put out an album, a week or two after, no one gives a fuck about it. And yeah, there was mixed reviews. There, you know, a lot of reviews were saying that she was trying to, you know, be trendy and shit like that. I didn't really get that. I do understand a lot of the complaints coming from fans. They miss the country Shania. And I hope that her follow-up, whatever the fuck it is, that she kind of goes back to her country roots. Because those unreleased songs or those target bonus songs, they would have been really well on the album. I listened to Done and Dusted way more than a lot of what's on the album. So Shania needs to go back to country. And I really hope that somehow this album picks up. It's a great album. I like it. I listen to it every day. So it's not like the material is bad. It's the people behind in the marketing that failed this project. Like, get the fucking songs Got It Good and Number One, like, remixed by, like, Tiesto or some fucking big DJ name. Make it a dance club track, and it will fucking, you'll see what happens. Like, who the fuck is in charge?